What do we do as leaders? And when I say we, I mean you from a historical perspective and your perspective on what our leadership needs to be doing. I'm not asking you to criticize. I know you wouldn't do that. I'm just asking, like, in your view, from a leadership perspective, how do I'm in my 40s now. How do we, middle of my career, I would say you're probably in the middle of your career. You tell me whether that's accurate or not.
I'm not ready to go retire yet, so I'm still going.
I'm being cautious with my words because my dad just retired and he's relatively young in my mind. But anyway, the point is that how do we as where we've kind of come through, how do we bring those people up so that they can do all the other stuff, they can focus on their family, focus on their practice, but still feel like I've got to do this?
I think the thing is people take on too many, they think of too many big bites at a time. It doesn't have to be that big of a thing. I think for you and I, if you and I pick two people to mentor, because you can't send out an email.
Yeah.
You're not going to get people to be engaged by Facebook. You're not going to be able to, hey, would you like to do this? Nobody's going to come forward and answer the email and say, oh, yeah, sign me up. That's not how it's going to work. At least that's not how I've seen it work. Where I've seen it work is I've gone up to somebody. In fact, I went up to a young female optometrist just this weekend at a wedding. I met her. And I said, I want to be your mentor. You do? Said that. And I'm like, yeah, we need future leaders. So I want to be your mentor. I think that's where it starts. It's incumbent upon us to create leaders for the future. I went to the AOA meeting this year and I saw so many people that I'll call them my students. The people that I met when I was on the school tour, they're giving lectures, they're involved with legislation, they're running for office in their state associations. They're one of them that I met who's younger than me, is really super involved. And I almost was going to mention a name, but I'm not going to do that. But
well, you can mention it offline because then I'll talk to her. I'll just contact her.
I'm seeing these people get really involved, but it was because somebody encouraged them in the first place. And let's be honest, that's how I got involved. Okay, so I'm dating myself big time again. But how I got involved was Pat Cummings and Vic Connors put me in a corner. And they were on the AOA board, and, I looked up to them, and they were from the Midwest-ish, Wyoming and Wisconsin. So I thought the world of them. We kind of had these small states and upper Midwest, and I thought, wow, these guys are big guys, right? And tall, but also big in leadership with our profession. And they put me in a corner, literally, at a meeting and said, Dory, you need to be more involved. We think you have the skill set. We think you need to do this. And now, here I am. I've been president and everything. And, unfortunately, both Pat and Vic are gone. Just when you meet somebody that, is a newer to our profession and you just shake their hand and say, I'm really glad to have you part of our profession. We need people to be new leaders. And it's just the verbiage. You might know or recall, I don't know, we talked about this before, I think, but I'm a huge John Maxwell fan. And one of his more recent books is Change Your World. And, the premise is not, you don't get involved and you have to be on the AOA board, okay? That's not how this works. But you can change your little corner of the world. You may know one or two people and you have influence over those two people, or, something that you can do that makes your piece of the world a little bit better. In our case, we're talking about our profession. So, our little piece of our profession, if we can make that better and start small. Pete Kehoe, we're talking about past presidents. Pete Kehoe came up to me at the AOA meeting this summer and he said, I want you to meet somebody. So, okay, come over. I meet this young woman and she's thinking about running for the board. Okay, that's how it was worded. So I'm all over the AOA board stuff, and her husband is standing there and they've got kids and, and so I'm all over this. And anyway, she goes, well, I was thinking of the Illinois board. And I'm like, oh, well, that's no big deal. That's a no-brainer. Just do it. And she kind of looks at me and I said, well, it is. It's small compared to the other stuff. So